Hey everyone, welcome back.
Before I continue the rest of this video, I wanted to let you know that these clips are old. They are from the beginning of June. I have been recording things on my phone, just haven't had a chance to edit and upload them, but I still wanted to post it just so I have it for memory and I can look back on it. And hopefully coming up soon I'll have more updated videos of the garden, but I wanted to make sure I posted these before I continued with the new videos.
I am sitting in my garden and just feeling a little bit sad. I had to let my rooster go today. He went to a new home and it just feels like a piece of my heart left with him. He was a sweet, handsome boy, but unfortunately where we live, we're not allowed to have roosters. And none of my neighbors have complained yet, and so I don't want to be that annoying neighbor. Plus our houses are pretty close. If we had more land and more space, then I probably would have kept him. But yeah, my neighbors are pretty close, and he was getting pretty loud. And it wasn't just in the mornings, it was throughout the day, and I didn't mind it because again, we have neighborhood dogs and they bark too, and I feel like it's kind of the same thing, but I just didn't want to be that annoying neighbor. So we found him a new home and they seemed really sweet, so I hope they'll take good care of him. But I cried last night. He didn't make fun of me, but he was like, babe, it's just a rooster. And I'm like, I know, but it's like you get attached to them. I raised him since he was little, and I thought it was a she, but yeah, hopefully he'll be great in his new home. So I've just been in the garden a little bit, feeling a little bit sad, but just trying to get a couple things done. I'll probably go inside soon because it's getting really hot out. If you can tell, I'm a little sweaty. My beautiful garden manicure, I'm wearing gloves, but still stuff gets through. And yeah, I don't know if you could hear all the cicadas. So I just wanted to update you a little bit. I'll include some clips here, kind of our sweet rooster. And the garden a little bit. I know it's been a little while since I posted a video, and things are growing and doing great. We've been having a lot of rain and crazy winds the past 3 days, and so it's kind of great, but then it also I feel like we get a lot of diseases spread in the garden because of all the rain, and my cucumbers are getting pickle worms, and this happened last year and the year before, and I've gotten a great harvest so far. I've gotten quite a few bags of cucumbers. I don't know how many pounds, but I did already can some, but I can't really even spray them because we've been getting rain, and I can't spray them during the day because I don't want to harm the bees, and in the evenings, that's when we've been getting the rain, so I can't even spray them. And so I don't know if I'm going to have to rip out all of my cucumbers and start over, or if I'll be able to spray them hopefully once the rains stop for a little bit. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Tomatoes are doing okay. Again, they've been kind of cracking a little bit because of all the rain we've been getting. But I'm thankful I'm at least getting a few things from the garden. And I've gotten a couple potatoes as well. I needed some for a recipe I was doing, and it was so nice to walk into the backyard and get my potatoes. I harvested some onions, and I have some carrots. They're still pretty little, and it's such a good feeling to be able to go into your backyard and pick, or to go into your garden and pick dinner and cook with what you grew. It's so rewarding, and it's like that fulfillment, of like all that hard work, and it just feels so good. I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
This was actually garlic that I harvested June 11th, and it was kind of one of those moments where I went out in the garden in the morning, just to check on the chickens, and I wanted to see what the garlic looked like, and I knew it was time to start pulling it out, and then it just happened where I just ended up pulling all of it out, and I had some bigger cloves, some smaller ones. I don't remember the exact number, I have it written down, but I think I had around like 250, a little bit more or less around there, heads of garlic. And again, some bigger, some smaller. But overall, I'm happy with how it turned out, and hopefully I can preserve most of it and not have it go to waste. Moving on to the actual garden tour, I'm not sure why I started back here, back towards the new section of the garden and not in the beginning where I always start, but here's a look at the tomatoes. They're growing great. I was really, or I am still really happy with this new trellising system we used for the tomatoes this year, and it's been working great. I don't have to deal with the cages. I have this random cantaloupe growing. I thought it was a zucchini, like a different sort of zucchini, but apparently it was cantaloupe, and the bunnies ended up enjoying it before I could harvest it. The dahlias are looking great, flowers coming in, and a few patches here and there. Some things are doing great, some things not so great. Little cabbages. Here are the tomatoes on the other side. And I'm glad I planted so many different varieties of tomatoes and expanded my garden this year. Here's the walkway that needs quite a bit of work, but it all happens slowly, but eventually it'll look nice. And the tomatoes are starting to turn color. Here's the other side. The potatoes were growing great. I liked the method of using the straw to cover it up, but I feel like it's nice, clean, and it doesn't look too bad. In this video it looks messy, but overall I feel like it looked pretty nice. And then the bunnies also enjoyed my, what are they called? Marigolds. So you win some, you lose some. I was trying to grow peas here too, and the bunnies just kept like mowing them down. The roses were beautiful. They smell amazing. The fountain needed to be cleaned. But overall, everything is looking pretty good. The butternut squash, this was a volunteer plant and I just left it in there. Ended up being butternut squash. They did great. The cabbages, again, some were great. Some I was dealing with some cabbage worms, but it's trial and error. And I try to do mostly organic growing, try not to spray too much. I ended up just pulling this cabbage out later and just giving it to the chickens because it was just, the damage had gone too far. The cucumbers coming in. Like I said, I did end up getting pickle worms, but I sprayed once the rain stopped and thankfully it went away and I was able to harvest quite a bit more cucumbers. But I love this trellis idea. It's nice to walk through kind of like a tunnel of greenery, and the cucumbers hang down. They're easy to spot and pick, and so I really like this idea. Over here I have mostly all cherry tomatoes. I think maybe one or two bigger varieties, but mostly cherry tomatoes in this section, and harvested quite a few tomatoes from there. That is borage that also the bunnies would keep eating and then unfortunately just flopped over, and I just kind of let it do its thing. Moving on over here, I had to move all of my pepper plants into this bed after I harvested the garlic because originally I had it along that black pathway, but the bunnies kept mowing it down. Every time I'd come out, as soon as it'd be a little bit more growth, the bunnies would come in and just chew it down. So I ended up replanting it in there. And in here was a little baby bird. There's a nest right above. The birds have babies in there every year, and they were learning how to fly. So I had a sweet little visitor that morning. Chamomile coming in. I had these plants as well that I still hadn't planted out because I wasn't sure where to put them in. Also, these were like volunteer plants that I just left in there, and I was like, you know what, let them do its thing. We'll see what happens. And so that also ended up being a butternut squash. I'm not sure how all those seeds got in there. Maybe I emptied out my kitchen scraps in there. I'm not sure, but those are some potatoes. And along that trellis, I have a loofah growing, and also I put in my moonflowers. The strawberries were also coming in, and the birds and squirrels and everybody was eating off of there. And so we were just sharing the strawberries, but when I did get to pick some, they were really sweet. Some lemon balm and lavender. Over here I have some onions that I finally was able to grow, some decent sized onions. They don't look as pretty or as organized, or not organized, but planted in nice rows, but I'll take what I can get. I think they came out pretty good. And some, what is it called? Eggplants and a random tomato. And on this trellis, I planted the butternut squash. Over here we have some kale that We ate off of, and some I would give to the chickens, some random tomatoes as well. And these, I left a couple garlic in there just to harvest these little cloves or these little flowers or seeds, you could call them actually, to plant in the fall. And the sage was also doing good. I've cut it down plenty of times and it just keeps coming back up. So that's a quick little garden tour. I really wanted to make sure that this year I actually documented my garden. Every year I think, oh, I'll remember. I don't need to take a picture or I don't need to write it down. And then I end up forgetting. And so this year I wanted to make sure that I really did take pictures or videos. And again, I know this is an older video, but hopefully here soon I will have new videos of the current garden and the progress. So I appreciate you all so much for watching today's video, and I will see you soon.